Hey, Kevin here, top 100 financial advisor and best-selling author, and we are here as always to talk about the stock market. Today, I want to give you a quick recap of some of the new stocks I added to my portfolio for 2021. As you guys know already, and I'll kind of recap my investing process as well, is that I buy and sell really just 2 times a year. When I say buy and sell, I mean like actually buy new stuff and kick out some of the old stuff. I on a weekly basis on public, I'm always adding monthly for my IRA and all that kind of stuff. I'm always adding more money to it and just boosting the investments I already have. But the end of June and the end of December, those are the times that I say, look, it's time for some moving, some shaking. Some people got to go, some people got to stay, and then we make those decisions. So I want to recap some of the ones that I kept, some of the ones that I questioned, some of the ones I let go of, and I'll probably break this up into a series. So did stuff for the kids, did stuff for myself, did stuff for the wife, and we all got some investments in common, some that aren't in common, and just want to give you a background look into the investing process for people who are new to the investing space or just curious about how I, as a former financial advisor and investing expert, if you will, go through their investing process. So not everyone's process is the same. Not everyone's philosophy is the same. Some people really, really like it and agree with it, and some people really disagree with me. That's totally fine. You do you. I'm gonna do me. All right. So let's go ahead and get into it. Won't keep you long today. Also, as I've been saying, number one, you want to sign up for my free class. I'm going to show you how to set up your six-figure investing plan. We've gotten some amazing reviews so far. That'll be in the description below, buildingbread.com/free class. So how to create your six-figure investing plan from scratch. I start off with zero. I'm gonna show you how to start from zero, hit six figures and beyond. So make sure you sign up for that. Other news and updates. Clearly, I'm moving stuff around. I just bought a real camera. You guys said on public and other places. I've done this via email too. Y'all says y'all really want me to do more stuff on YouTube. That's why you're seeing this on YouTube now. That's why you see a nicer light. But now you boys got a real camera. So I got to play around with that. Maybe we'll get some editing software and do what it do, right? So I'm excited to really kind of branch off in something new. I've been stuck on Facebook since I started, a little bit on YouTube. We really ramped up Instagram in the last 2, maybe 3 years. And now I think it's time to like branch off and do some real YouTube. Maybe we'll get to TikTok, maybe, but I think if we get the videos right, then maybe TikTok will make sense. So anyway, let's go ahead and get to it. So again, brief recap. I don't want to hold you long. I want to get right into it and let you know what we bought. So what are some things that I wasn't sure what I was going to do with. All right. So in all, we didn't lose any real money, and I'll tell you why. So we sold 1, 2, just 3 stocks out of the public portfolio. And the one that we technically lost money on was Beyond Meat, had it for 152 days, and I lost almost 12%, 11.96. Now, I actually bought this by accident. I am not perfect. I'll tell you guys that up front. You know, when we put out the public link, I'll put that in the description below. We both get a free share, and it gives you a box, and it gives you like I think 9 options. At least when I bought this by accident, it was green. I'm a visual person, so I clicked the green logo. It was not SPY, which is an index fund. It was Beyond Meat. So I was like, I guess I'll just hold on to it. And I did. Held on to it for 152 days. Didn't do anything. It lost money. It was only $30. So really not a big deal. But went ahead and got rid of that. That's $30 in my pocket now that I can go use for the rest of these stocks. So that's the one that we lost money on. I'll also give you a caveat too that the rest of these made money, right? And the bar as to what I say, you either get to stay until the next round, which is December, or you kicked out, or you are kicked out of the portfolio, was 15%. Why do I have 15% as that bar? What I like to do is if I am investing in an individual stock, you need to meet or beat the S&P 500. That is the bar. The reason why it's a bar is because I take on more risk, right? I could have invested in 500 companies at one time. I could have sat back, minded my own business. I could have got 15% from January until now. I'm sorry, from December 2020 until now, June 2021. That's easy, right? So if I'm going to take the extra risk and put my money in one company, you need to do better than those 500. I got to be compensated extra for that risk, right? So that was the bar. Got rid of Nike. Now Nike, my son has owned Nike for forever. He's doing extremely well, but he got Nike at $65 and $88. Dad didn't do that. Perhaps Dad should have. But we did make 12.89% on Nike. Just because I sell it doesn't mean it's not a good company. There are people who are very, very bullish on Nike. That I think they had great sales numbers overseas, China, if I'm not mistaken. You guys saw it popped like last Friday or so, which was incredible, especially for me because I was down up until then. But hey, look, you didn't meet the goal. Okay, so you got to go. I made money on it. I got my bag and I'm out. That does not mean that Nike won't be a good company going forward. It doesn't mean that I might not come back to Nike down the line. That is a possibility, right? I'm not ruling it out. But for what I am trying to do, they did hit that bar. But also the way I'm looking at it too is I'm not sure that Nike is going to outperform some of the new companies that are going to be on the list. So that's what I'm doing as well, saying, look, you did what you did. I appreciate it. I think X company is going to do better between now and December. So Nike got rid of that one, got the boot. We did make close to 13% there. Thermo Fisher, they're a scientific company, scientific technology company, however you want to put them in that category. We made 6.35%. I really expected, obviously, if I put my money into it, I really expect to do better than whatever the S&P 500 is doing. So it only made 6.35%. I'll take it, right? Remember that the average, right, the S&P 500 right now is up about 15%, but on average on any given year, if you do it for a longer period of time, you're going to get somewhere between like 7 to 9. So 6% for 210 days, that's fine. You're not going to get that in a bank account. I'm not mad at it. You will never go broke taking profits. In this case, we were able to do that. And then T-Mobile. Now, if you listen to the Flavor podcast with me, Andre, I do a weekly segment with him. You know, I've had my issues with T-Mobile. There was a time where T-Mobile just wasn't doing well at all, and they started to kind of ramp back up. I think T-Mobile might actually still be a very good company for the rest of the year. Except that I don't think it's going to be better than the companies that I added. So they were up 9.48%, almost 10%. Had it for 210 days. I appreciate you, T-Mobile, but you get the boot. You got to go. Okay. It is what it is. So T-Mobile is out of here. So those were the three companies we sold. Sold T-Mobile, sold Thermo Fisher, sold Nike. Doesn't mean it's a bad company. It's just that I think the companies that I'm adding are going to be better. And I'm going to give you those three companies right now. So Capital One. Now, background, I actually did work for Capital One for almost 2 years, I think, 2015 to 2017-ish. So there's a little bit of a history there. But as I've been saying, I was not sure which one of these financial companies I was going to get. I've been talking about it for a while. Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs, Bank of America, JP Morgan. This one is one of them. There was, I think it was Bank First, was the local bank in Oklahoma. Thought about them, but they really kind of fell off performance-wise, so I stayed away from them. That's the one I wanted to get because I wanted to support a local, native rather, company, but didn't work out. So Capital One is the one I jumped into. Again, I think most of these banks are going to do well, but Capital One had the best performance of the other banks that I mentioned. The other thing, too, when you compare Capital One to a JP Morgan or Goldman Sachs, they move differently. They're more of they make more money on credit cards for obvious reasons, and they are more of a very mid-sized regional bank. Think like PNC versus a Bank of America that's broad, and you got Morgan Stanley, right? Or more of an investment bank like a Goldman Sachs. So I think Capital One is in a space where it has a lot more room to grow, but they're also in a different side of town where they have a huge credit card business that isn't necessarily just flat out banking in and of itself. But going to performance, speaking of that, last 6 months, they're up 61%. Over the past year, they're up 150%. None of these other banks got close. None of these other financial stocks, rather, got close. So Capital One, and I'm familiar with it too, it had to be the one. Just had to be the one. This was almost a no-brainer, given that we know the financial industry has been taking off. And I would expect it to continue to take off as we're going outside. You got holiday season. It's not right now, but it is down the line. So I would expect Capital One to continue this tear of doing incredibly well. So that's Capital One. Next is Ford. Now, Ford is a very funny story for me. I had did a webinar years ago, and I would make fun of Ford. I would put up a screen like, Ford is terrible. It's the worst company you could invest in. It was down like 70 or some ridiculous percent. It was terrible. That's not the case anymore. Ford is reorganizing their business. They're really pushing for electric vehicles. They have the electric F-150, they got the electric Mustang, and they are putting a lot of money behind the electric vehicle movement. I think strategy-wise, it's a very interesting move, good move, might I add, because you got Tesla as a luxury brand. People see Tesla as aspirational. They see it as the electric vehicle of the the wealthy, right? You don't see just regular people driving Teslas like that. But somebody has to have the mass markets, the cars for me, you, the regular humble person, right? You got to get a car, and places like California and others are pushing electric vehicles. People are moving in that space, and we've already seen this year how gas shortages and hacks and stuff can affect people who use gas. But because we're moving to that space, if this infrastructure bill passes, also going to be a very good thing for Ford and General Motors. Both were doing well, but I did decide to go with Ford. I had an entire paragraph or three I'm looking at right now. But based on what was written here, the stock is already up nearly 70% over the last 6 months, well over 100 over the past year. But again, I mean, they've been really, really good, General Motors as well. But I think that mass market segment, you don't really have anyone dominating, in my view. You don't see anyone dominating that space. You got Toyota. Yeah, they've got the Prius and stuff like that. You also, Toyota owns Lexus. You got those two. But I think once you start to get like regular F-150s, Ford Focus, all kind of stuff that's really electric and they really put their money behind it, and perhaps you get an infrastructure bill where you're getting a lot more of these charging stations and better roads across the country, ooh, it's going to look nice. So I think Ford is going to be very, very good right now, and it's still early. I think maybe next 2 years or so is going to be really, really good. But definitely between now and December, I'm really excited about it. I think it's probably going to be one of my sleeper stocks for the rest of the year. Obviously, things can change, but I have a lot of confidence there. And then we have Target, also known as Target. So this one replaced one of the companies that we had mentioned earlier. Target has a lot of momentum behind it. We all know Target, right? You got to shop at Target. You got to shop at Target. Like, it's either Target, Walmart, or Amazon. I already got Amazon. Wife's got Walmart, had that one for years. Target, why not? Target has been doing incredibly well, really over the past year and some change, but it's Target, right? Like, I don't really need to really convince you as to why Target is a good company, other than the fact that I can pull up the performance here too. But it's a business we all understand, right? But I think the other thing about Target, why I needed to have it, is to kind of diversify a bit. I'm still pretty heavy into tech, especially on public, but I do want to kind of branch out a little bit and not be so tech heavy. We've seen that tech had not for a little bit of the year not been what we expected to be in the past. So I wanted to diversify a little bit. This could also help me come holiday season. I got it down. Maybe it'll help out a whole lot come December and really January once they report those numbers. We'll see. But right now, Target is doing well. Again, they got a lot of tailwind, a lot of momentum behind them, and I don't think they are done just yet. So I'm really excited to see where Target goes. I think of these three, it's probably going to be Ford. It'll probably be, and this is a guess, right? So there's no real science behind this part of it. But if I had to rank these and how well I think they will do, in my view, I think Ford, Capital One, Target, hopefully they're all up in the double digits. But as you can see, things are going to happen between now and December. I don't know what those things are. There are points last year or last cycle, right, with T-Mobile and others, even Adobe, and I'll get to that in a second, that I thought, like, it's not going to be good. It's terrible. It's a bad investment. It was negative. Nike was another one. And I just kept DCAing over and over and over again. And the tide turned and things did get better because I was patient. So that may be the case with some of these. I'm saying this out loud to you so that you can have patience, but also to myself so I can remind myself that it's going to be all right. Because even I have doubts from time to time. So again, all the investments, with the exception of Beyond Meat, which was a free stock, were positive, which is good. So hopefully, while it is difficult to replicate this stuff over and over and over again, I definitely have good hopes here. Lastly, there were some stocks that stayed. And this is my process. So if a company does well, I'm not going to get rid of it, right? Unless I think it's not going to do well. But we get to keep adding. So if it does well, we keep it, and they stay in the fold, if you will. They stay on the team. So I want to give you just a few of those. So Adobe, I thought I was going to get rid of Adobe. Adobe had not been doing well for quite a bit actually, and Adobe started turning around. I think I'm up 17% or so there, so they get to stay. Okay, so Adobe gets to stay. I'm looking at it now, up 19.07%, which is really good compared to the overall market. And it's really been taking off since about mid-May, and I mean nearly straight up, which is great. So I'll hold on to Adobe. Other companies, I mean, you can go and see the entire portfolio there on public. Disney, I'm keeping Disney. I got free shares. I'm going to actually start to add money to it. And then Shopify, another company that I gotten for free, that one is up 24%, and I will start to add more money here as well. So those are ones we didn't necessarily, pick during the season. These were stocks that we got for free, and we'll decide. Adobe was one that we did actually pick, and it continues to do well, so we're going to keep it. Square, you passed the bar, you get to continue, as well as Danaher, which has been one of my most surprising stocks. Had not heard of them until we started doing research last December. Stock symbol is DHR. Again, you can find that on public as well. I'll put the profile again in the link. I know I'm running long, so I want to wrap this up here in a second. So Danaher up 19%, 51% from the time I first bought it, but again, we DCA. So remember we talked about DCA, go back and check that video from maybe a week and a half ago, in that it can sometimes help you and then sometimes kind of really narrow you out. So in either case, it's up 51% since we first bought it, up more than 19% since we continue to DCA. Still very good company, still very solid. So they get to stay until otherwise. All right, so that is everything that I have. I'm going to double check here. Those were 3 stocks we added. We added Target, added Capital One, added Ford. Hopefully these do well for the rest of the year. Hopefully they all continue to do well as you and your investment picks. And then we'll break it up. I'll talk about what I did for the kids, what I kicked out of their portfolio, what I added, and some other interesting stocks that I'm looking at for the rest of the year. All right, so I know that was a little bit longer than what I wanted it to be. I'm sorry. Hopefully it was helpful. Make sure you hit the like, subscribe, and share buttons. Hit all of those below. One day I'll have some graphics and it'll be really cool and I'll start to point to things. We'll see. But that is it for me. And I'll talk to y'all later.